Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into some really cool stuff today in the world of AI, specifically something called deep research.
Oh, yeah, this is a big one.
It is, and we're going to be pulling from this article from AI Times. It's a South Korean news site that covers all things AI.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so basically the AI world is changing like rapidly. Every single day something new comes out.
Yeah.
And this deep research thing is what everyone's talking about.
Mm.
It's kind of like if LLMs, like large language models, if those were like the star students in school, deep research is like them getting real-world experience.
And not just any real-world experience. They get to use the entire internet for their job.
Yeah, exactly. Like their office is the internet.
That's a great way to put it.
So maybe let's start by defining what deep research is. I mean, it's not just another LLM, right?
No, it's definitely not. I mean, it's more like an AI agent.
Okay.
They can actually like search the internet and gather information on its own.
Wow.
And then use that information to improve its answers.
So it's not just like spitting out what it's been trained on.
Right. It's actually learning and evolving like in real time.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
So the article mentions this thing called the Humanities Last Exam.
Oh, yeah, the HLE.
Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah. It's like the most challenging benchmark for AI out there.
Really?
Yeah. They say it's like the ultimate test to see if an AI can really like reason and problem solve.
And like apply knowledge to real-world situations.
Exactly.
And get this OpenAI's deep research model is like crushing it on this exam.
Crushing it. They're scoring way higher than anyone else.
Like more than double their closest competitors.
Yeah. It's pretty remarkable.
So it's not just some made-up test, right? Like this HLE thing.
Yeah, no, it's designed to really push the limits of AI.
So it's testing their ability to connect the dots and come up with solutions that even humans might struggle with.
Yeah, like real critical thinking stuff.
That's insane.
It is. I mean, it shows you just how powerful this deep research stuff really is.
Now, here's something interesting. The article says that Google actually kind of introduced this functionality first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with their Gemini 2.0 model.
Huh. I didn't realize that.
But it seems like it got totally overshadowed by all their other announcements.
You think maybe they didn't realize how big of a deal it was going to be?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they were just trying to do too much at once.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like they buried the lead or something.
Right, exactly.
But then OpenAI comes along and bam, deep research is all anyone's talking about.
That's funny how that happens sometimes.
It is. And then once OpenAI did that, it was like everyone jumped on board.
Oh, yeah, like a chain reaction.
Right. The article mentions how Hugging Face and Perplexity AI and even Elon Musk's XAI.
Oh, wow.
They all came out with their own versions of deep research.
So now it's everywhere.
Yeah, like the AI landscape shifted overnight.
That's wild.
And to add to the craziness, Google just launched deep research on their Gemini mobile app.
On their mobile app.
Yeah, but of course, you got to be a paid user to access it.
Of course.
But it's interesting, though, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it shows that deep research is becoming more mainstream.
And more accessible.
Yeah, like before it was this kind of like research lab thing.
Right.
But now anyone with a smartphone could potentially use it.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's like having a research assistant in your pocket.
Oh, speaking of powerful predictions, did you see what Sundar Pichai said?
Sundar Pichai, the Google CEO?
Yeah, he said that 2025 is going to see the biggest shift in search ever.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
It is. And I can't help but wonder, is he talking about deep research?
Well, I mean, think about it. Traditional search engines are all about keywords and links, right?
Right.
But with deep research, you have an AI that can actually understand what you're asking.
Yeah, and synthesize information from like a ton of different sources.
Exactly. So instead of just getting a list of links,
You get a comprehensive answer.
yeah, like your own personal research team has been working on it for you.
That's incredible.
It's going to change everything.
So you think deep research is the game changer that Pichai is talking about?
I think it's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It's like a whole new way of interacting with information.
Totally.
And speaking of changing everything, the article also brings up Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI.
Okay.
And he's saying that AI agents with these deep research skills are going to start joining workforces in 2025.
Like actual jobs?
Yeah, like real jobs. And they're not just talking about it. OpenAI is actually developing AI agents that can do real-world tasks.
Like what kind of tasks?
Like analyzing market trends or providing expert advice or even drafting legal documents.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. And get this, they're thinking about charging $2,000 a month for access to their most advanced models.
$2,000 a month?
Yeah, but the article makes a good point. It might actually be cheaper than hiring a human expert in some cases.
Yeah, I guess if you think about it, an AI can work 24/7.
It can analyze huge amounts of data.
And it never gets tired or asks for a raise.
So are we saying that AI agents might actually become more cost-effective than humans in certain fields?
It's definitely a possibility, and it's one we need to start thinking about seriously.
Yeah, it's like we're on the verge of a major shift in how we think about work and expertise.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning.
Wow, there's so much to unpack
There
here.
is.
In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to explore the potential impact of deep research on different industries and what it might mean for the future of work as a whole.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so we've talked about how powerful deep research is, but what does it all mean for us humans?
Right. That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, are we all going to be out of a job?
Well, I don't think it's quite that simple. I mean, AI is still a tool.
Okay.
Even with deep research, it's not like it's going to replace humans entirely.
So you're saying it's more about AI augmenting our abilities?
Exactly. It's a collaboration. We bring our creativity, our critical thinking, our understanding of human emotions.
Right.
And AI brings its processing power, its data analysis, its ability to be unbiased.
That makes sense. But it still makes me wonder about the future of work. If AI can do all this research and analyze all this data, even draft legal documents, as you said,
Yeah.
what jobs are left for humans?
Well, it's true that some jobs will probably become automated
Right.
as AI takes on more tasks.
Yeah.
But I also think that new jobs will emerge, jobs that we can't even imagine yet.
So it's not necessarily a human versus AI situation.
No, not at all.
It's more like humans and AI working together.
Right, exactly. The key is to focus on the things that humans are really good at,
Like what?
like creativity and problem solving and emotional intelligence.
Okay.
These are all skills that are really hard to automate.
And probably in high demand in the future.
Exactly.
The article talked about AI agents becoming like colleagues.
Yeah.
Is that realistic? Can we really expect to be working alongside AI that closely?
Well, it's already happening in some industries.
Oh, really? Where?
Like in healthcare, for example, AI is being used to help doctors with diagnoses
Wow.
and treatment plans. And in finance, AI is helping analysts make investment decisions.
Interesting.
And of course, in customer service, you've got AI-powered chatbots handling basic queries.
So it's not just a futuristic concept, it's already happening.
It is, but it's going to require a shift in mindset for a lot of people.
How so?
Well, we're going to have to get more comfortable with delegating tasks to AI and trusting its abilities.
Okay.
And we'll also need to develop new skills that complement AI rather than compete with it.
So basically, we need to adapt to this new reality.
Exactly.
But what about education? If the job market's going to look so different in the future, how do we prepare the next generation for this?
That's a great question, and it's where education becomes really crucial, I think.
Okay.
We need to move beyond just rote memorization and standardized testing.
Yeah.
The focus needs to shift to developing critical thinking skills, problem-solving abilities, adaptability.
So it's not just about learning facts anymore, it's about learning how to learn.
Exactly. We need to equip students with the skills to navigate a world where information is constantly changing and technology is advancing so radically.
The ability to adapt, to learn new things, to think critically and creatively.
Exactly. Those are the skills that are going to be in high demand.
It sounds like we're talking about a pretty major overhaul of our education system.
It is, but it's a necessary one, and there are already some encouraging initiatives happening.
Like what?
Well, some schools are starting to incorporate coding and AI literacy into their curriculums.
That makes sense.
And others are experimenting with project-based learning and personalized learning paths.
So it's not just about teaching kids about AI, it's about teaching them how to think in a way that prepares them for a future where AI is everywhere.
Exactly. We need to foster a love of learning, a curiosity about the world, and a willingness to embrace new challenges.
Those are good qualities to have in any era.
They are, but they're going to be especially important in the age of AI.
All this talk about AI and the future of work is really fascinating.
Yes.
But let's not forget about the present. We've talked about the potential of deep research.
Yeah.
But are there any downsides or challenges that we need to be aware of right now? It's true, we've been pretty optimistic this whole time. But, every new technology has its downsides. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And with deep research, I think one of the biggest concerns is bias.
Bias.
Yeah, we all know the internet's full of misinformation and biased content.
Oh, right.
So if these AI agents aren't trained properly, they could end up just repeating those biases and even making them worse.
So it's not just about teaching them to find information. It's about teaching them to evaluate it.
Exactly. Is this source trustworthy? Is this information accurate?
Yeah, fact-checking, basically.
Exactly. It's like teaching a student to think critically about what they're reading.
But how do you teach an AI to do that? Even humans struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah, it's a tough challenge, but researchers are working on it. They're developing ways to train AI to recognize patterns of bias and to cross-reference information from multiple sources.
So it's like building a BS detector for AI.
Pretty much, yeah. The goal is to make sure these AI agents are giving us reliable information.
That makes sense. Otherwise, it could be really dangerous.
Exactly. And it's not just about protecting the AI, it's about protecting us, the users.
Right, like we don't want to be misled by some biased AI.
No, definitely not.
It's almost like a new kind of digital literacy.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so let's talk about the impact of deep research on the AI industry itself.
Okay.
The AI Times article mentioned that Meta and Anthropic are pretty much guaranteed to include deep research in their next models.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, deep research is becoming like a must-have feature.
Right, like if you don't have it, you're falling behind.
Exactly. The article even said it would be like leaving money on the table.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not just about keeping up with the competition, it's about staying ahead of the curve.
It's like an arms race for AI.
Kind of, yeah, except instead of weapons, we're talking about intelligence.
That's a good way to put it. But it makes you wonder who's going to benefit from all this.
Yeah, like is it going to be a good thing for humanity or a bad thing?
Right, like are we creating something that's going to help us or hurt us?
That's the big question, and honestly, I don't think anyone knows the answer for sure.
Yeah, it feels like we're living in a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? Except it's not fiction anymore.
Or reality.
Exactly. And like any good story, this one has the potential for both good and bad outcomes.
So what's the takeaway here? What do we do?
Well, I think the most important thing is to be aware of the potential risks and benefits of deep research.
Okay.
And to approach it with a sense of responsibility.
Responsibility.
Yeah, like we need to make sure that we're using this technology for good.
For the benefit of all humankind.
Exactly.
Well said. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive into deep research.
That went by fast.
It did. But we covered a lot of ground.
We did.
If you want to learn more, be sure to check out the links to the source material in the show notes.
Yeah, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, keep the conversation going.
This is just the beginning.
It is, and it's going to be fascinating to see where it all goes.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks for joining us, everyone.
See you next time.